so this is P3.4, energy in the environment. What I have done is I have deliberately put this into a table because I think there's a lot of energy sources which we've talked about, so I'm just going to summarise the information that we've got so far. So if you look, the first fuel I've done is fossil fuels, and I'm going to include oil, coal and gas because they're all roughly the same in terms of the problems that they create. Some people argue that gas is less of a problem because they don't have sulfur dioxide, which is acid rain and things like that, but to be honest with you, nowadays the main problem is the greenhouse effect, not the acid rain, because the sulfur can be cleaned out of the coal, so there isn't really that much difference between the three of them. So greenhouse effect, this one is loads of CO2. Okay. Renewable, it's not renewable. Reliable, it is reliable. If you burn it, you get the energy from it every time. It is national grid compatible. Other issues are acid rain, if it's high in sulfur. Okay, but that can be cleaned out of it, so you can clean the fuel source. Okay, next one. If we look at, let's do this in the same order that we did. That we came up with it when we were going through it. So the next one's going to be biomass. Biomass. This one is carbon neutral. Which is different to saying no carbon or yes, there is loads of carbon. It's carbon neutral, remember then. So the net effect is zero if it's done properly. Renewable, again, yes it is if it's done properly. Reliable, yes it is if it's done properly. National grid compatible, yes it is, because it's just burning a different fuel. So you can build that power station anywhere. And then other, so can compete with food. Okay, that's one of the downsides, which increases food prices. And you have to replant, must replant effectively. So that's not just, so what I mean by that is if you chop down a mature tree that's about 100 years old and you put in a new plant which is tiny, although you've done one plant, replaced it with another, it's not the same in terms of the impact on the environment, so you've got to be careful with that. So yes, if it's done effectively. Okay, next up we've got our wind and wave powers. So let's go with wind turbine next. So for the wind turbine, greenhouse effect, construction only. And I'm going to write that a few times, so I'm just going to call that CO. Oh no, that's too close to carbon monoxide. So I'm going to write con. So yes, there is CO2, but it's only when it's being constructed. Yes, it is renewable. No, it's not reliable. No, well, if it's in a remote location. So the remote location is the best for the wind. If it's in a remote location, then it's really hot. It's really expensive to get on the grid. Okay. Other, we need to be aware of the fact that some people think they're an eyesore, and we need to be worried about birds flying into it. They're the things that people are worried about. Okay, next one. Wave power. Construction only. Yes, it's renewable. No, it's not reliable. national grid compatible, some expense. Because if you think you've got to take the cables out to the sea, it's always going to cost a fortune. And again, it's all to do with problems with ecosystem. Does it affect fish? Does it affect birds? Maybe. Okay. Next one, we've got tidal. Again, construction only in terms of the CO2, otherwise there is no other. Yes, it's renewable, yes, it's reliable, yes, it's compatible with the national grid. And the only reason why people, so there's two reasons why people want to do it. One of them is, again, ecosystems, so birds and fish again. And the second reason is they're expensive to build. But otherwise, if you look, it looks like a no-brainer. 7 barrage should definitely happen. It's renewable, no greenhouse effects, it's reliable, it's compatible with the national grid, it's got everything going for it, except it's a bit pricey. Okay, next one. Hydro. So hydroelectric, construction only again. Yes, it's renewable. Yes, it's reliable. Yes, it's national grid compatible. There's nothing really to say except for the fact that everywhere that can be done has been done. So you can't really increase it. So I would say that we're at the maximum capacity for this one. So you can't make any more this way, or at least not enough more to make any difference to that 86% that's currently being done by fossil fuels. Okay. Next one we'll have a look at is nuclear. Greenhouse effect, construction only. It's not renewable, so we don't write it down as one of the renewables, but will last for a very long time. Thousands of times longer than the number of years that fossil fuels will last for. So it's made in a different way. So nuclear will last for a very, very long time. It's not something you need to worry about if nuclear will run out. Not yet, it's not anyway. Whereas fossil fuels, you do need to worry about it running out. Yes, it's reliable. Yes, it's national grid compatible. It's just a normal power plant, so you just connect it up to the grid. You've got safety concerns. And you've got waste concerns. So how do you deal with the waste? How do you make sure they're safe? They're the two things that people are really worried about when it comes to nuclear. And because of these two things, because those two things are such a big concern with nuclear, it makes it expensive. But it's because of these two. The actual nuclear power plants themselves aren't that expensive. It's just expensive if you try and make them safe and deal with the waste, which obviously everyone wants to do. Okay, next one, we've got solar. Again, construction only. Yes, it's renewable. Reliable in some countries. Not all. National grid compatible, yes it is. And again, the materials that are used to make a solar panel are expensive. And last but not least, geothermal. And what I want to say about geothermal is that it's brilliant if you've got it. And what I mean by that is not everyone can have it. Only places like Iceland can have it. If you've got to be quite thin crust, so you can get to the heat easily. So, geothermal. Greenhouse effect, again, construction only. Renewable, yes. Well, it's never going to run out. You're not using it up, so I guess that's a technical yes. Reliable, completely. National Grid compatible, completely. Problems are limited. Suitable sites for power station, e.g. Iceland. If they came up with a better way of digging the hole so you could go deeper, cheaper, and then everyone could have geothermal, but at the minute it's too expensive to do it in most places because of how deep you would have to go. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do now is I'm trying to show you the whole table. Okay, so you might want to pause the screen if you haven't